Okay, for this lesson, you're going to need Play-Doh, and you're going to need dental floss, white paper, and markers. This brings up one of my favorite movie scenes, and Chris put that scene here where Richard Dreyfuss is telling the people in Close Encounters of the Third Kind that there was a crag that they could hide in, and the people who had built models were saying, I didn't know this was here. And he says to them, well, you did make it out of mashed potatoes. So basically what we're going to do with these topographic maps is we're going to make it out of mashed potatoes. And playing the role of mashed potatoes is our Play-Doh. So I have the students take two big wads of Play-Doh and they're going to squeeze them together and make a mountain. And I tell them to go ahead and make a couple of sunken spaces and some edges in their mountain so that we can make it more interesting. So we're going to make a mountain. What we're going to do first is we're going to take this and shape it out, make it smooth, make it pretty, build some sections in it. Because a topographic map is basically letting you know about elevations, how high this is, how high that is. And then we're also going to talk about contour intervals and elevation change. A lot of times we front load vocabulary, but these kids, they don't know the same things that we knew in school. Their lives are so much different. When I was in school, everyone knew Close Encounters of the Third Kind. When I was in school, everyone knew about Mount Everest. But these kids don't have the same background. Okay, so I now have this all smoothed out. This is going to be my river that runs through it. And there we go. So the first thing I want to do is to draw, or rather trace, an outline. And sometimes when I do this for them the first time, I let them see me make a mistake so that they understand that, well, if she makes that mistake, if I make it, it won't be so bad. Okay. So now we've drawn this. I'm going to pull it off so they can see how this looks. This is our sea level layer. So I'll put that back right in the same spot-ish. And now I'm going to use the dental floss. Okay. The dental floss is basically to cut with. And I use it in a sawing motion. Since they all get to do their own, but I have them work in teams, I have someone hold while someone else cuts. And slide it in and start sawing back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so that's my first piece. That's a nice cut. And here's the second piece. I'm trying to keep the cuts level, trying to keep it even. And if it doesn't turn out that even or that level, they understand. So now I can take these two pieces off, take this. This is one elevation. I'm going to put it to the side, put this here, put this here, and now they're beginning to have a reference, something that they can see. So I trace this, and start again. Look at that. Okay. Same dental floss. So now they've gotten a little more experience, and you find that once they get some experience, this goes a lot quicker. But even if it doesn't, give them the opportunity to work it. So that's this level. I take it off. And I put these next to each other. Okay, so here's another angle so you can see it better. So I cut this other level. Now I have this level, and I drew a line around it. So I'm going to put this here and get my dental floss, which has gotten lost, and cut another layer from here. Sawing back and forth. Okay, so I can take this off, put this here, and put that there. What my kids like to do was to pile this up as they go. And once we got to this point, I heard a lot of, oh, that's what that means. They're beginning to formulate it in their own brain. So now that I've cut that off, I do it again. Trace, trace, trace. Okay, and I trace here. What I want to do is to make sure that they can see the difference. All right, last slice. Last slice.
Here is go back.
There we go. Put this one here. Peel it off carefully. There we go. Put it there. Put this piece here and the last one over here. Some of the students were able to get as many as 5 layers. Some could only get 3 layers, which it looks like I'm going to get 3 layers. At least on that one. There we go. And put this here. And trace. Okay. So now what we have is a model, and you can say it's an island, you can say that it's a mesa, but they clearly see that there are many layers. This is what I like to ask them. Now that you've seen this, with the distance between here and here, what does that give you an indication of? Is this a gentle slope, or is this a steep slope? And by having made it, they understand the difference between a gentle and a steep slope. Oh, that's a steep slope because it has a lot. Oh, that's a gentle slope because it has a lot of distance in between each contour level. It has a great contour interval. So now you start introducing all those words to them because they've made this. So now that you've actually modeled the activity for them, you can start talking about contour intervals, elevation change, and what this might mean in a real world scenario. Some of my kids did a battle scenario where they had one side with a huge contour interval and they knew that that was a gentle slope. On the other side, they had small contour intervals, so they knew that that was a very steep slope. And they had to draw up battle plans. Do I go up the gentle slope that I know will be easier and everyone will expect, or do I go up the rough side of the mountain, as it were, where the intervals are very, very small and it's very steep? Most of my kids, because they're slightly Machiavellian like their teacher, decided to go up the steep side because no one would expect that, therefore winning the battle. You can relate that to social studies. You can turn around and do a math lesson with it. There are several things that you can do with that. If you gave each contour interval a distance and then a time, it takes so much time to climb up this or that, then they can come up with their own mathematical equations and say why this one should be better or that one. But see, what you've done is you've anchored all of this knowledge to something very, very specific. So when they see this on the STAR test or whatever test that your school district may have to give them, it'll have some meaning to them and it'll be a lot easier. They can remember, you know, that Play-Doh and how they sliced it and what each thing means. And now these words have an anchor for them. So that's how we did topographic maps, not using mashed potatoes, but using Play-Doh and dental floss. Please hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment, ask me a question, and I will be more than happy to do a video for you. Thanks. Can we just start?